do want to say that this committee assignment was the best committee assignment that I've ever had. I, like most lawyers, have become accustomed to keeping time in 6-minute increments. And it's one of the things that changes your life when you begin practicing law. And even though I stopped the full-time practice of law many years ago, I still tend to think in 6-minute increments. And I invested a full 3 minutes and 3.5 minutes in this assignment. And here's the story behind it. The president, Stuart Schiffman, first of all, appointed a committee and asked me to head the committee. And we were at a board meeting in late March or early April in Las Vegas. Before my committee for the Lifetime Achievement Award had met, I said I thought the mission was to find the greatest living legal writer. Who is the greatest living legal writer? In the tradition of Oliver Wendell Holmes, in the tradition of Learned Hand, or of Robert H. Jackson. And the board, by acclamation, immediately said Justice Scalia. There were several voices saying Justice Scalia. And this was before our book had appeared. I said, well, I do know him. I said, but wait a second, is there anybody else who should be considered for this award? And the voices on the board were essentially to the effect that yes, there are other people to be considered. That took a full 30 seconds before they said, but they're not in the same category. The greatest living legal writer is Justice Antonin Scalia. Now, I will say, and that was the end of it. There was no committee. The committee never met. The board just said by acclamation, it will be Justice Scalia. I said, well, what am I to tell the committee? There are these committee members. They haven't even met. They've just been 3.5 minutes on this. And anyway, it was done. And I think it was the correct outcome. This award does recognize Justice Scalia's contributions to legal literature before our book appeared, and those are his greatest contributions by far. The opinions, the wonderful opinions that seem. John P. Frank wrote in Marble Palace about the U.S. reports and said that set of books constitutes a vast literary wasteland. And for the most part, it does. Certainly there are exceptions, mainly John Marshall and Oliver Wendell Holmes. Of course, Cardozo's best writing is not in the U.S. reports. It was in the New York decisions, because he was a better common law judge, I think, as a writer. Robert H. Jackson, probably the greatest writer ever to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court in many people's view, but I think his equal is Justice Antonin Scalia, and so it's a great honor to be able to award Justice Scalia this Lifetime Achievement Award, because we've all benefited from the clarity, the lucidity, and the bold metaphors that he brings to his writing, and he is like no other. And so, Justice Scalia, if you'll come forward, it's